think AI actually has helped democratize a lot of that information. Like, you know, you could go on and even if it's not perfect information, it can at least give you a sense of, here's a couple options I have. I can talk to my CPA about it.
Right.
Honestly, I've really enjoyed working with like lower end of the market, people that are buying single family, maybe building a portfolio of single family, duplexes, quads. And I think part of the reason I've really enjoyed that is because up until recently, there's been a barrier like of high quality information. So like I mentioned earlier, like I grew up on the Eastern Shore, and in places like that, like where like West Virginia, like access to high quality information is often not available. Like even for like healthcare, like a lot of times people would have to drive up to Hopkins or to DC to go to a good hospital when they need a really good specialist. I think the same is true as tax. Like unless you're paying big dollars, like you're not going to get a lot of great tax advice.
Right.
I think AI actually has helped democratize a lot of that information. Like, you know, you could go on and even if it's not perfect information, it can at least give you a sense of, here's a couple options I have. I can talk to my CPA about it.
Right.
So I think this kind of lower end of the market hasn't always had access to this great information. Like, so we've been able to come into that space and I think provide a little bit of a benefit that they didn't have in the past. And so I think that lower end of the market's been the most exciting to me, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And they also, like, there's this, when I was first getting started, I didn't have access to a lot of this information. Now I had a bunch of mentors, which were super helpful, but tax advice and legal advice, the mentors know not to give that, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not, you know, CPAs are not exactly. So they would like point you in the right direction. But that's most of the time, like you're not going to sit down and have an in-depth conversation about taxes with your mentor unless they happen to be a CPA.
Correct.
And so I had all these investors that were, and business owners that were mentors, but they would kind of point me in the right direction. And then I would go to a CPA and ask these things, but the CPAs I either knew of or could afford, like, didn't really care to talk to me about this stuff.
Exactly.
Until I got to a certain period where I was like, okay, $600, $700 an hour, fine. Like it's worth it. I need good advice. And now I have access to all kinds of information and things like that. And it saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I didn't at first. And I think if I would have had that sooner, I probably would have been in a better position, at least during those years, as far as what taxes I paid or how much capital I had.
Yep.
So I think it's really important to kind of, again, people know that like cost segregation's out there, but they don't know, they might not be willing to pay the thousands of dollars that it takes to do it, especially without knowing what the return is going to be, and it just be this black hole, right? But it sounds like you've set it up in a way to where it's more feasible for smaller investors, and they have a pretty good idea of what might come out of it before they have to go down this large rabbit hole.
Right.
What should an investor bring on their first call with you? What information?
Yeah, I mean, really the only information we need is like, you know, purchase price, like what year you purchased it in, and then the address, and generally that can give us enough information. If it was a study from a prior year property that they bought, a great piece of information that we always ask for is like just the depreciation report from your prior year tax return, because we kind of need to tie into the same exact numbers for the basis and the land value that the accountants use. So that's the other key one. But I think for that initial call, it's really just like address, purchase price, its prior year, that depreciation schedule, and that's about it.
And you have a form online that they can fill out as well to like kind of get the ball rolling.
Correct.